gives me great pleasure to introduce the Honorable, our favorite friend in Washington is the Honorable Henry Cuellar.
It's always a pleasure having Bill Schuster here, and he was here a couple years ago. He said he was going to work with us, and he did deliver. He did deliver to Webb County, to the border, and let me go over a couple of highlights. If you look at the different projects inside of Webb County and in Webb County, you're talking about nearly $100 million that will come in because of the new transportation bill that Chairman Schuster was able to put together. What does it mean for our particular area? Well, Texas will receive more than $18 billion in the next 5 years, an average of about $3.6 billion every year in the next 5 years. It's a little bit about 1.8 or so billion dollars extra that the state will get.
When we do infrastructure projects around the country and in our hometowns and where we live, it takes a team effort. It takes the local elected officials, the state, and the folks from TxDOT are here. It takes the state, takes the federal government, takes the public and the private sector, all working together. That's the way we win these things. That's the way we do. We put in place a freight provision, because if you travel around this country, there are points like Laredo, the Port of Los Angeles, Chicago, the Port of New York. You know, go around the country where these major hubs of commerce where flow back and forth. We've got to make sure that the dollars are invested in those corridors to move freight, because in about the next 20 years or so, we're going to see the doubling of freight in this country, which means there won't be 14,000 trucks a day, there'll be 28,000 trucks a day. And we've got to prepare for that today, because we won't be able to do it. And then in another 20 years of that, it'll double again. What happens here in Laredo, Texas, affects the entire nation. All those trucks, that stuff didn't all come from Texas. Some of that stuff probably came from Pennsylvania. And the stuff coming back on this side's probably going to Pennsylvania. So if there's a choke point here in Laredo, if there's a choke point in Los Angeles, if there's a choke point in Chicago, that affects the entire nation. So we've got to make sure that we're looking at these places, these key hubs, and Laredo certainly is one of those, being the third largest port of entry and exit in this country. So again, coming to a place like this, I think is for me, seeing it firsthand is absolutely critical.
If it wouldn't be for the mayor and members of the council and all of the support that they give us in order for us to be able to have the resources and the tools ready for us to have all of these projects that we're talking about, that they need to be shovel ready, so that when the funding does come down, those projects will be ready to be awarded. And the city of Laredo is not only ready, but it's prepared to make sure that the projects that you'll see here on these boards here, that they're going to be shovel ready and they're going to be ready to go. But that takes a lot of commitment and the vision from the mayor and members of the council.
All these trucks are rolling north to all parts of the city, of the states. And I always say that comes to Laredo, we feed the entire nation. From here we feed in everybody, providing with transportation. Like I said, you see that we're here together, working as a team.
We're very much excited that you've decided to come down and see this firsthand. I can tell you, having been a friend of Henry's for a long time, and we couldn't be prouder of our representation at the federal level. It is effective. There's always somebody that's out there reaching out to us. There's always, someone that's ready to give us a hand and listen and help us assemble that which needs to be done, whether it be transportation, homeland security, the variety of different capacities. We're lucky to have Mr. Cuellar in D.C. We're lucky to have our colleagues on council, our friends at the county, our management team here, and we're ready to get to work. We just needed that extra push, and I'm glad you came down to give it. Thank you. Yeah.
Congressman, thank you so much for working really hard for that. You said we're going to get it done and we're going to work on it, and here we are today. You said you got it done. You got it done, sir. Well, I'm really proud to say that, so thank you very much for doing that.